it's a core tenet of the vision of entrepreneurs, because I believe that a lot of entrepreneurs and their ideas die on the battlefield of entrepreneurship because they think they need to do it themselves. The world for so long has touted entrepreneurship as this amazing thing, this high risk, high reward, and they think they need to do it by themselves. So
Right.
they put a bunch of point solutions around them, just like tech does. And then at some point in time, there's duplication, but you have multiple inputs and there's all these silos. Whereas I believe that an intrapreneur is really what an entrepreneur is going to be their best friends, their secret to scale, to get them out of the day to day so that they can work on what they're best at. And that entrepreneur can build, innovate, create, systemize, operationalize the business so that it actually serves the purpose of the vision rather than just making the entrepreneur a highly paid employee.
I love it because think about where this, or if you think about, and I'm showing my age, back in the 70s and 80s, Bell Labs. If you think of
Yep.
Bell Labs today would never get off, it would never get funding because they're like, what are you going to do? Well, we're going to make stuff. Well, what are you going to do once you make it? Well, I don't know, right? There's no market for it. We're going to just invent stuff that we think society needs and then figure out how to sell it afterwards. That would never fly today. And that's kind of what I'm trying to do. To your point, most entrepreneurs get this need, get this thing in their mind. Hey, if I do this, this is going to be make things better. They think it's going to make, they're not sure, but they think so. They go in, and right now, the way society has become, they get punished for their crazy thoughts, right? So then that's where they become the intrapreneur, where they're like, okay, I got to do this by myself. And I know this firsthand because when I tried to make this platform, everybody across the board, from everybody that I spoke to, even the ones that were very nice people, positive, said this, you're boiling the ocean. And I kept saying, no, there has to be a way of you being able to capture the entire business, not just, oh, CRM, oh, accounting, all these silos like you're talking about, right? Um, but yeah, that's the vision. And y do I need a COO right now? What I'm looking for is help.
Yeah.
That's we finished the product. So now all those people that said we're crazy, you're never going to be able to make that are like, oh, you did. But now the question mark is, well, you're never going to be able to package it to sell it commercially. So that's what we're transitioning. And you saw the Advanced IT Labs one, where we are getting traction, where people say, wait a second, for the same amount of money that I would pay all these subscriptions, you can come in and give me my own custom. And at some point when I can afford it, I can buy it. It's towards the end of helping entrepreneurs. It's towards the ends of bringing up later on the marketplace, which is that's the part that we were talking about when we had our call, which is what I wanted to do, which aligns with what you're doing, is I wanted to create a platform that essentially eliminated this whole bias towards who can market the best
Hmm.
and focus on merit. And that's where the AI, we can use our AI to then match people based on, I've got this idea, I've got this vision of doing this, and match it with other people in the marketplace and take out the bias. It doesn't matter who you are, what your background is. If you have a good vision and you can show that you have that vision and you're committed to that, right? And you can deliver stuff and you're interested in delivering stuff of value, then match people up. So it eliminates this initial threshold of trying to enter the market that is growing. It's becoming the threshold is becoming much higher, I believe.
Yeah, I agree. So when you make the transition from tech, right, building the hardest parts first, serving that vision into it's not full operations, it's marketing, it's operations, it's implementation, right? When you say you need help, what is that like if you were to try to, graft your own, hybrid of a person, what would that look like?
Well, so the help is we've gotten to the point where we've got a product. Let's start with Advanced IT Labs, and I've been all over the place. So Advanced IT Labs says, look, I'm going to give you a custom solution that has AI. We can build apps inside of this and put it all together and give it to you. It's going to be not as inexpensive as Salesforce, but it's going to be much better than Salesforce for you. But the cost is not going to be a multiple; it's just going to be a percentile higher, right? Um, so I need to find people that will take that and grow it and run with it. I'm almost on the last piece of the marketing, where it was very difficult to articulate all the marketing concepts because I brought in over the years, I brought in people who were focused on marketing or sales or quote unquote those titles, but they couldn't convert what was in our mind what we were offering because there was nothing else like this. The business model is different, right? In AIT Labs or Advanced IT Labs, I sent you. So what I'm looking for is somebody who can take these different companies and is interested in growing them. I'm not the guy who likes to run big companies, although I can if I have to. I don't, that's not me. I like to invent, I like to create, and I like to keep feeding that pipeline of new innovations to keep this stuff going. So what I'm looking for is less of an employee, more of a partner who can say,
Yeah.
look, you know what? I like this idea. I love it. I'm going to grow it. I know what to do to get the first couple of customers to grow it and to be the big innovative things and run with it. Take it to as far as that they want to take it, right? Um, Advanced IT Labs, I think it's right now the marketing's baked on the one that you saw on our call, the Sierra product,
Mhm.
that is completely ground floor. And if you like, I can give you the vision on what I'm hoping to be able to achieve that's more aligned with what you're doing.
Yeah.
I want somebody who that's not so much a software sale. That's a I hate to we use the word, it's a cult sale. We're building a cult there. It's a
Way to
digital,
lose.
yeah, it's a digital society that we're trying to build that it can't be a corporate thing. It has to be where it's a buy-in, it's a democracy kind of thing where that person who's that leader who runs that has to be a leader, has to bring in other people and be able to manage all these different expectations and ideas and come up with the best possible path forward that benefits everybody. And that's really what I'm looking for that line. So AIT Labs, somebody who it's a typical sales, but the model is different as far as software sales. On Aries, it's more of I call it a cult sale, like a religious thing, where we want to sell the value that we want to deliver to society. Does
That's
that make
good.
sense?
Yeah, it does. I Truth be told, I think at the beginning of the conversation, I wasn't distinguishing Aries with advanced IT labs. So I was thinking of one and the same, but I see how Aries is very much cult following the um, like the world is, round versus the world is flat sort of approach. I
Right.
remember, back in my software days, we started to sell, I'm gonna butcher this, but it was like essentially in-memory storage, which would accelerate the speed by which large applications at the state and government level would be able to find information rather than going all the way back to, mainframe or what have you. And as a
Oh my
result,
God,
like it
those
would speed up
cavemen.
applications considerably.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with that?
I actually so I was back then I was involved with the DoD a lot, so I'm completely familiar. So we had contract with Amtrak, with the FAA, with Department of Defense, mostly the Navy. So everything I think we probably helped implement one of those instances of what you sold. So
Yeah, I think what do they call them in-memory data grids,
yeah,
right?
got it.
In-memory data grids. And anyway, so
Yeah, no,
we would
it's a long time ago.
we would have to explain to these IT departments that there was another way to speed up their applications because they only knew one way. And if you've worked with the DoD and state and local governments, you totally understand that and get that and all that stuff. On the advanced IT lab side,
Yep.
what help me understand, give me like a little bit more of what is that solving that Aries is not?
It's so AIT Labs is focused on smaller companies that can't afford to go out and build their own technology properly. And what I mean by that is you've been in IT, so obviously you've sold some stuff. Typically, if you're going to build a custom solution, especially in today's market, it's so messy and noisy that the typical project ends up coming short of what the business wanted or fails typically, right? That's the typical. The exceptions are the ones that actually succeed. And most of the time it's not because of the vendor being bad, it's because there's just not enough time. They hit these roadblocks that they didn't expect, all of these things. So what we're solving with Advanced IT Labs is saying, look, you need technology. If you're going to be competitive in today's market, no matter what your business is, right? Unless you're walking around homeless, you're going to need technology in something, right? And we want to give you that technology so that you can compete with these big companies. That includes AI, that includes the more sophisticated stuff. And unfortunately, technology isn't the end all. So once you have the software, you still need the support. So the package is we're going to give you for what you're paying these bigger software companies that entire package encapsulated. So you don't need to be the expert of software. You just need to be the expert of your business. We'll cover the rest, right?
Wow.
And so far the couple of people that we're working with are astonished. Their whole thing is, wow, I didn't even think that this was going to be possible. Because if I went and try to go to Salesforce, you customize it, and every time they do a release, your customizations break, so you have to go back and hire people, right? You go use a click funnel, that's all right, but it's still not enterprise per se, right? You go
Yeah.
use go high level. So all these things, they do some things great, but not everything that a business needs. And that's what AIT Labs is solving, right? It's focused as a software sale with a service for business. That's it.
Got it.
The Aries Sierra side is, like I said, it's less stuff about the technology. It's more about building a community or building. I've become more prone to calling it a nation because we want to have a governance. We want to have people who are in leadership roles, almost like open source programming communities, like a Python community,
Yeah.
where this group of governance along with the population dictates the direction of where the platform goes. Um, that one
Hmm.
is a little bit different because we are building a distributed compute platform that would mimic some of the things that you get out of Amazon. We're starting with software, so it's just a platform you can go sign up, almost like a social kind of thing, but it's focused for entrepreneurs. Come in, sign up, um, start your projects. You get all the benefits, all the functionality that we've talked about it before, but now you can start projects, you can do e-commerce, all the things in, if you combine ClickFunnels, Salesforce, Go High Level, all of these into one package, you get all those tools, but then we add the marketplace to it. The concept of the marketplace is there's all the other folks that are on the market can come in and help you either as a vendor and the connection is made by a AI kind of like a dating app. So it
Hmm.
connects based on merit, not based on bias, right? Uh,
Interesting.
so it's like a built-in marketplace. So instead of going to LinkedIn and sitting there trying to figure out how to run ads, trying to figure out how to do direct messaging, the system will help you find customers,
Hmm.
right?
Interesting. Okay.
That's really the difference, if that makes sense. Is that clear enough, or is that too
Yeah,
long-winded?
it's helpful. I can totally understand why it requires somebody with a diverse skill set to be able to kind of champion that because it's like, I mean, a lot of times when I'm working with my clients, I'll technology, like we always focus on people, then process, then technology, right? But technology is usually the thing that everybody wants to focus on first. They don't recognize that it's not going to work. You can't focus on technology first. But so we inevitably we find ourselves doing multiple technology evaluations and everybody's looking for the silver bullet, right? And the silver bullet doesn't exist. You need a CRM and you need a project management tool, right? And you need like we just did this for a client in the home services space, and you know they do light home construction and modifications, nothing crazy, like $10,000 jobs max, right?
Right,
So
right.
it's like nothing. So they can't go to a pro core inside of a construction because that's like for billion-dollar companies. But they also need a CRM and they need project management and they need to be able to, interface
They
with their
probably need
installer.
accounting. They probably need accounting to do cost tracking. They need to do cost of goods sold. They need to do that in real time so they can price projects better, so that they're not flipping the numbers around once they get into it. Probably all of
But
that stuff.
but the idea of building that, because you can never get what you want, right? It's like, oh, so we chose Builder Trend, right? Builder Trend's got some CRM, but it's missing so many
So
things.
that's the pain that we saw with AIT Labs. That's the pain because we took it was not simple to build something that combined all these different angles into data. It's not hard to do record keeping, right? So and I hate to use this word, any monkey can do add, delete, and update. But do that cohesively across project management, accounting, CRM. And people think, oh, CRM, all it is the concept of add, delete, and update of a contact. But when you start getting into it, well, what if you want to have all your emails come in so that you can see when one of the people that you just messaged responded? What if you want to connect a calendar to this? What if you want to, all of this stuff? And then really CRM has to tie into project management, because project management, where do you get your projects from? From the CRM, from the customers. And how do you track that? What caused them to, I mean, if you have a real CRM and you want to really understand what you're selling and why it's selling, right? Other than the fact of brute forcing it, you need CRM, but CRM needs to connect to project management. How did you convert this person into a sale? And then how did you deliver? Was the delivery good? How did you invoice? When did they pay? All of those things, you can see how it starts to, well, okay, I need CRM. I mean, you're right on with what your guy needs, right?
Yeah. Well, and the important part is what it forces these entrepreneurs, and I know you know this, but I'm trying to integrate it into my brain to make sure I understand correctly. But what I hear you say is that what it forces entrepreneurs to do is almost accelerate their infrastructure and growth faster than they need to, right? Because it's like, oh shoot, I need to understand this, so I should have somebody in accounting, right? So even though you want this open flowing of information, you build silos and you have these people who own their little fiefdoms who just not going to communicate. Oh, I need to do a 6 month look back to see, what the trend of our profit margins are for this service of business. I got to ask accounting. Oh, sorry, our proposals don't go into that level of detail, so it's missed, right? Well, shoot, that's going to inform how we make proposals moving forward for that. So there's always this missing thing where you have to like kind of figure out which way the wind blows and hope that you guess the right way. So this is
Superstition.
powerful.
That's what we call that. I call it superstition. You're making decisions based on superstition, not facts, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's what Advanced IT Lab solves, right? It says, okay, and where we are right now in the development stage of that, and you're absolutely right. People say, well, technology is messy. Let me focus on people, but really, what you need to focus if you're starting today, in my mind, and this is just my opinion, you really need the people and the right technology for the people. It's almost like trying to go mine gold without any tools. You need to find the people that are going to help you go mine gold, but you got to give them tools too to do it, right? And
Yeah.
right now, everybody's kind of strapping these things together, and really that's what it solves. But if you take that and then say, well, let me add a marketplace and a more of a community, that's what Sierra becomes. So you go from it. So Advanced IT Labs is going to feed Sierra as we build these different businesses in.